the Lights starts now.
Hello, East Texas. Welcome into Under the Lights. Dan Millay and Jimmy Searfoss with y'all here to guide you through the action from Week 3 of playoffs in East Texas.
This was the best slate of football we've had all season long, and I don't want to wait any longer to get into it. Let's get out to it, because I went to McKinney, where the goods were out there, man. Box office matchup, Carthage, Pleasant Grove, and it lived up to the hype, man. Check this out. This was a huge ball game. It started off with it right here. KJ Edwards ripping off a big one. He actually broke the Carthage record here for all-time rushing yards, surpassed 5,465 yards in his entire career. How about that? Just like this one, though. He made the plays today. Wish he handed it off more to him this first half. He scored the first touchdown of the game. They led 7-3 at that point. Bulldog defense got busy, too, getting them after Colton Yancey here in the backfield. They got the sack and a little bit of selly afterwards. Didn't stay long down, though. Colton Yancey right up the middle, shoving some men off, getting into the end zone. We had a good one brewing because he's talking his mess right there. They went up 10-3. Later on, Pleasant Grove right on the goal line again. This one punching it in. Big celebration. Hawks led 17-7 going into the half. They actually had a lead in this one. Check that out. Let's get to the scoreboard. It didn't stay that way. Carthage 34-20. They're going to end up playing Athens in the quarterfinals right up the road at Rose Stadium. That's must-see football, man.
Yeah, you talk about box office.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be great. And a rematch, too, of course. All right, we got Pine Tree taking on Fort Bend Crawford here. You'd swear it was a home game with all these Pirate fans, but nope. We're in Groesbeck, Texas, windy, but not windy enough to lift the Pirate ship in the first half. Pine Tree having trouble hauling in passes, so they're going to settle for the field goal here. It's good. Through the uprights. That's their only points before the halftime break. Chargers start to roll here. Alvin Mosley swings around the edge, takes it in for the touchdown. I like those uniforms a lot. We haven't seen those all year.
You like teal? Or
I like the teal.
Oh, okay.
No, I like the teal.
Big teal guy.
Crawford back with the ball. Benji Fisher spots Amir Johnson in the end zone. Strike. Another Chargers touchdown. I also appreciate that. It's a unique mascot. It's not another. Two unique mascots here. Pirates trying to get something going. Colton Croft hands to Roger Attaway, breaks free, nearly takes it the distance until finally being chased out of bounds by the defense there. Second quarter, Fisher calls his own number, muscles his way in for another score. Got a little help from his friends.
He had to go through it to get there.
Had to do it. Pirates finally get the stop, force a field goal try. Miguel Arena knocks it through, so the Chargers extend their lead to 24-3 at the half. And, well, didn't get a whole lot better from there. Fort Bend Crawford ends Pine Tree season. They win at 48-10, and they will play Kilgore in the quarterfinals.
Heck of a season. Shout out to the Pirates. Let's get down to Van. Round 3, ARP versus Edgewood. And guess who's there? Marvion Overshow. Man, wow. Texas is playing Texas A&M tonight. He's here. How about that? He was a happy alum, too. They didn't waste much time to getting on the board. Josh Smith, like a grown man, had a grown man mustache, and no celebration in the end zone. Edgewood answered properly. Jathan Johnson with a slant over the middle. This kid was electric tonight for the first quarter. He found his way into the end zone. He did have a celebration, and it went a little longer than that, Dan. But that ARP defense, man. What did we talk about? ARP's defense. They were getting after it in the backfield. Check out that hit. This one, not as gentle.
Ooh.
Hello! Good to meet you. He even had to do a little celebration after that one. We named this guy earlier, though, Josh Smith. All business, straight face. He's just on a business trip right now. Getting to the fourth round. And then this is the play of the night, Dan. How about the big man getting the grab? Chugga, 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 chugga. Get off the tracks. Train's coming through into the end zone. Touchdown, ARP, big man touchdown. It's the best kind of touchdown, Dan. We'll see that one again later on. Goal line, here we go. Josh Smith, big surprise.
My word.
Number 6, in there for 6. ARP had a lot of control in this one. Ended up actually getting delayed due to some crazy lightning, 49-20. Now ARP's got to play Newton and Troop. Well, we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
we'll get to it right now.
We'll get to it right now. We're heading to Crockett, where the Troop Tigers will be playing Newton. This is a tough matchup for Troop. Josh Childress steps back to search for his open man, launching it deep to D. Holly, but the big play was brought back after a holding call on the offense, and that was a big play that Troop needed. trying to score once again. Childress launches deep, intended for Holly, but Taboris Joyce was all over it, breaking things up. D. Holly wanted the pass interference, but not on that one. Kendry Porter kept the ball on most plays here in the third, and here he's looking for the breakaway, but he's taken down by a couple of Tigers defenders. Childress looking for an open man, feels the pressure, fires to Logan at Chamber, but it ends up in the hands of Braylon Patterson for an interception. A couple plays later, Newton would turn that into a touchdown, turning defense into offense. And there you go. So Newton wins it 46-13. And assuming ARP holds on, barring a crazy Edgewood comeback, they will be playing ARP in the quarterfinals.
It's a tough one. That's an absolute buzzsaw of a Newton team because we know how good Troop is.
Right, yeah, undefeated before tonight, of course. But before we continue, we got to take a look at our game day forecast and our weekend forecast with meteorologist Joel Robinson.
Well, our next system is going to be moving in as we head into the later parts of tonight. Temperatures, they'll make their way down into the upper 40s to low 50s with rain chances all the way through the night and all the way through tomorrow as well as that next system makes its way through. Here's a snapshot of 6 a.m. on the model data here. Cold front makes its way in. Some stronger thunderstorms are going to be a likely possibility. Then you go further to the north. We got some heavy snowfall possible as far north as Omaha with that next system coming in. Luckily, we're going to be steering nice and clear from any snowfall, but certainly we'll get in on some heavier thunderstorms as early as 2 o'clock in the morning as the system makes its way closer. It's going to be kind of an on and off situation all the way through the day. We start things off at 10 o'clock in the morning with some scattered showers, and then as we continue into the rest of the afternoon, especially going into the evening, we're talking around 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, this cold front will finally make its way into East Texas, sparking off some very heavy thunderstorms. These will have the potential to produce maybe some gusty winds up to about 60 miles per hour and quarter-size hail. So we have an isolated chance for maybe some strong to severe thunderstorms that we're going to have to watch for into tomorrow. And then we go into Sunday, we have the potential for lows in the low 30s and highs only reaching the middle 40s. So this is a pretty strong cold front here, and a couple of clouds will be rolling by, but otherwise we are going to be pretty rain-free into your Sunday. Rainfall, once all of this system is said and done here, could potentially reach up to about an inch in some locations, maybe about an inch and a half under some of the heaviest thunderstorms. That's mainly going to be along and south of I-20 with some smaller amounts further to the north down to maybe about a quarter. So not crazy impressive, but those of us that get in on some of those heavier downpours certainly will get in on some pretty decent accumulating rainfall. And we do have added rain chances going into next week as well. So you total all of that up over the next 7 days, we have the potential for at least an inch or two of rain, especially over deep East Texas, where some of those better ingredients are for some of those heavier thunderstorms. Those temperatures, they'll be taking down into the middle 40s as that cold front makes its way through for the beginning half of next week. And then for the second half, we'll return back to average in the upper 50s to low 60s. How about low temperatures? Well, they're going to be down into the low 30s, potentially down to 31 by Wednesday. And then, as you can see, temperatures make their way back up into the upper 40s to middle 40s for the second half of next week. Here's your 7-day forecast. So once again, weather impact alert in place for all of Saturday. There will be a chance for rain all of Saturday with the best chance of heavier thunderstorms in the evening. And then 46 and partly cloudy for Sunday. Weather impact alert for Monday for some heavier thunderstorms once again. Then 49 for Tuesday. Rain chances pick back up into Thursday and Friday with once again those temperatures returning back to the average, which is around the low to mid 60s. We got upper 50s to low 60s on tap.
Well, we hit the big schools that we always talk about a lot, but we still got some of the smaller ones. San Augustine, Beckville, man. Those guys been making noise all playoff long. We got it coming up, and I'm really excited with that.
And that one was right here in Tyler, too, so stick around. We'll see y'all after the break. Hello, East Texas. Welcome back into Under the Lights. Dan Millay and Jimmy Searfoss with y'all. Jimmy, you talked about it a little bit. We've hit the big schools, some close games, some blowouts, but we got to spotlight some of our smaller schools. Give a little love to the smaller schools.
Hey,
here.
Beckville's been making it happen. They've just find a way to win so far. And San Augustine's been all up in my mentions, talking about how good they are. Let's see how good they are today.
Yeah, let's see them. Two teams from deep East Texas making the trip to the Rose City today to square off. It's the San Augustine Wolves going up against the Beckville Bearcats. San Augustine gets the scoring started with Andrew Nash taking the ball here and impersonating a freight train. Look at the man rumble 31 yards to the house. Nothing wrong with that. And San Augustine, well, they strike first. Beckville just couldn't get it going offensively. Quarterback Braxton Bullock swings it out quickly to Gabe Johnson, but the Wolves converge and chew him up. Negative play there. Beckville would be forced to punt. Later on, San Augustine going to the air attack. Quarterback Michael Renfro's a scrambling, rambling man, but that's all right because he hooks up with Tamorian Cartwright, who comes flying into your picture to make the snag and gobble up a few extra yards before being driven down at around the 5-yard line. First and goal for San Augustine, and here comes the freight train again. Andrew Nash takes the handoff, chugs right down the tracks for the easy score. Wolves extend their lead. Late first quarter, and check this out. Renfro spins it deep. It's D'Adrian Renfro taking the elevator to the top floor to come down with the pigskin. How about it? Nash looks like freight train, and DeJorian looks like Randy Moss on that grab. It was all Wolves in the first 12 minutes of the ball game. And like you said, Jimmy, Beckville, when they tried to find a way, they fought back, but St. Augustine does take it 43-33, and they'll be taking on Joaquin in the next round. Speaking of Joaquin.
Lefty quarterback, hey, how about that for the Wolves? Like Michael Vick out there. Let's go out to the Joaquin Rams. They clash with Elysian Fields. Yellow Jackets wearing orange at a chilly night across East Texas. Players all bundled up. Rams keeping it on the ground early. Cooper Bragg finds some daylight in the nighttime. Turns on electric mode. Cruises past defenders for the huge game. Finally getting ushered out of bounds deep in Elysian Fields territory later on in the drive. Ain't broke, don't fix it, baby. Bragg back again into the end zone before falling forward. Rams draw first blood. Yeah, these ain't lambs out here, baby. These are Rams. We're going to skip ahead a little bit. Rams lead 16-7. They say life's a gamble and Joaquin's a big bet. How about that? Onside kick, guess what? It pays off. Dagan Lee strikes over the middle for the recovery. Terrific field position. Some smash mouth football from Joaquin. On the ensuing drive, Trenton Runnels with the keeper plows ahead, eventually finding the pay dirt. Rams go up 24-7 after the two-pointer. Roughly midway through the second quarter now, Elysian Fields looking to jumpstart the offense. Nunu Kennedy chucks it deep. A Xavier Boyd climbs the ladder. Head tap him. Come down for the 44-yard score. Elysian Fields battling but trailing with a little over than 6 left to go in the first half. Kennedy, man, that's a good football player, but wow, Joaquin, wow. Yeah. Whoa! They just run that jumbo down everyone's throats. How about that? 74-21 over the orange Yellow Jackets.
It's kind of reverse of the scores we usually see Elysian Fields put up on
Yeah,
people.
man, that's such an electric offense, and Joaquin just has their number. They did that to him last year, too, when Joaquin was a 4 seed and then went to the state championship semifinals. How about that? They might do it again.
They might do it again, folks. Well, stick around. We got one final break, but when we return, you'll hear final thoughts from Jimmy and I.
Well, when you hear that riff, you know it's thinking time, and nobody does it better than Dan and I here on CBS 19 and this
As you
deep
can
in the
tell.
playoffs. Yeah, look at us. We're pondering. Come on
My
now.
word.
Dan, what are you pondering about right now?
Well, I'm pondering and I'm hoping here. I want to talk about ARP. They got Newton next round again, assuming their game is not officially over, but barring a crazy Edgewood comeback, it's going to be Newton and ARP next week. We saw Newton just beat up on Troop beat up on ARP earlier in the season. But I think the ARP Tigers have grown. They have learned a lot since then. They've gotten better. They've gotten stronger. They've gotten wiser. And I'm just going to put the hope out there that they can take down Newton for us East Texans.
Yeah, man, how about this? Revenge is best served cold. It was cold out there tonight, and Athens is going to get their shot, man. How about that? Carthage moving on. This is an East Texas love letter because these are two of the best offenses in 4A ball, and they're meeting right in the heart of East Texas. Rose Stadium, right up the road. This is something that nobody can watch and can miss. If you are even the slightest fan, if you're doing nothing on a Friday night, you need to be there at Rose Stadium just to witness two of the best going at it. It will be a high-scoring affair, I promise.
And of course, if you can't make it to Rose Stadium, just tune into CBS 19.
We will have the breakdown after.
We'll have the highlights. But folks, we got to wrap things up here. But we're not done yet. We're going over to CBS 19 Plus, where we got more highlights. We got Kilgore. We got games from this afternoon. Whole lot of great stuff. We'll see y'all on CBS 19 Plus. East Texas, and welcome into Under the Lights Late Night Edition. Dan Millay and Jimmy Searfoss with y'all to recap Week 3 of playoff football in East Texas. Jimmy, we've already seen a lot of really good games. We have another one that we've been looking forward to, Kilgore and Bridge City. A couple of, Bridge City was, I believe, 11-1 coming into this game, so a really tough matchup. So we thought.
Yeah, on record, but
paper,
if you look at it, if you look at the games, they were a little bit closer than the Kilgore games, Dan.
Well, let's see. Kilgore up on Bridge City, 21-0 here in the second quarter. Their offense on the move again. Bulldogs in Cardinals territory. Kason Brooks out to LaKeelion Graves, wide open, forced out inside the 10. That would lead to a Kilgore field goal. Bulldogs up 24-0 in the third quarter. Now second and long for Bridge City. Hudson Hoffman rolling out, decides to run, but he's tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Kilgore gets the ball back, and they would add another field goal. Now in the fourth quarter, it's 27-0. Hudson Hoffman met almost immediately in the backfield. Zarak Hall has a hold of him. Cameron Christian gets a hand in there to jar the ball loose. That's a fumble recovered by the Dogs. Ensuing possession for Kilgore. Kason Brooks hand off to Isaiah Waters. Great blocking. Gavin Wall clears the way. 34-yard touchdown run for Kilgore as they blank Bridge City 34-0, and they will play Fort Bend Crawford in the quarterfinals.
That worries me a little bit. I mean, I'm not super worried about Kilgore. I don't like how they haven't really faced anybody, though. These has been pretty much a cakewalk for 3 rounds straight. Almeda Crawford, they've been going through it. Lindale, Pine Tree. That's not an easy test there.
They're making their way through the District of Doom.
We'll see how this ends. Hey, let's go down to McKinney. We got an extended highlights for you. Box office matchup, Carthage versus Pleasant Grove. 1 versus 2 on every single board. It lived up to the hype. Check out this run from KJ Edwards. Ripped off a big one. This one breaks the Carthage record for all-time career rushing yards, surpassing 5,465.
That's absurd.
That's a lot of yards, man. That's over 1,000 a year. Just like this one, though. He made all the plays in the first for the Carthage Bulldogs. That puts him up 7-3. Bulldog defense is getting a little after it, too, on Jace Harris introducing himself to Colton Yancey in the backfield. How about that one? Had a little celebration. Didn't keep him down long, though. Yancey right up the middle, man. Look at the black shirt hauling his way into the end zone. Black and gold looks so good, man. And he likes to get a little celebration, too. He let him know about that one. We got a good one brewing down in DFW. Later on, Pleasant Grove right on the goal line. They punch it into the end zone. This one, flex on him, man. Getting up 17-7 at halftime. That's Nick Bell's flexing in the end zone. Hawk defense was really feeling it. And they were putting it on, man. Surratt's actually fumbled a few times. Second half, though, Carthage defense showed up, forced a fumble on like one of the first plays of the second half. They put it into the end zone, fumbled for 6. Next possession for the Hawks. Interception on this one. Zakarian Purley picks it up and drops it right back down there. Then Benny Smith right on the end zone. Took a lick the play before that. He pushes it in the very next play, and all of a sudden, Carthage is leading in this one. They ended up winning 34-20 over the second best team and the best defense, arguably, Carthage has seen all year. It's going to be a good one next week.
KJ Edwards and Benny Smith, best running back duo in the state, question mark?
100%. Benny Smith could start on any other team.
Isn't that unbelievable? Yeah.
Any other team.
Ridiculous. All right, let's go out to Ennis, Athens, and Sunnyvale. Hornets fans on their feet after a touchdown. It's already 7-7, 1 minute into the game. Looking for more here. Athens quarterback David Richardson hands it off to Jabari Taylor, who powers into the end zone to put the Hornets up 14-7 now, but Athens not done yet. Check out this catch from Emmanuel Moore, climbing the ladder for the first down and more. And then kind of looking towards his sideline. Y'all see that? Richardson to Moore once again, this time into the end zone. That pass makes it 21-7 Athens. There's only about 2 minutes left in the first half here, but no problem for Sunnyvale. Kason Maupin puts the moves on to make it 21-14. Raiders in no way backing down. Never say die, Raiders. They would get the ball back with just seconds left in the first half. If you thought they were just going to kneel and go talk second half strat, you're dead wrong. Maupin's is a man possessed, taking it himself almost 70 yards to the house to tie things up at 21 going into halftime, but it was all for naught. Athens wins a shootout, 37-36 over Sunnyvale. And like we said, they got Carthage in the quarterfinals.
I cannot wait. Somebody offer Emmanuel Moore, dude. He needs something. He deserves that.
It's
That's
time.
D1 talent. That's D1 talent. Hey, let's go round 3 of the playoffs, continuing. Lions Stadium in Henderson. Overton gave Mount Enterprise a tough one for a little bit, for about a half last time. Let's see how it went this time. Joshua Bennett hands it off to, you guessed it, Kagan Ash, and you know what happens next. Ash slices through the defense, pumps up the speed, and just takes it into the end zone, making it look easy over the Mustangs. Dynamic duo striking again. Bennett keeps it up the middle, this time just by himself, plowing through the defense. Man, he couldn't touch him later on. A few plays later, Wildcats recover their own onside kick. Man of the evening, introduce yourself once more, my friend Kagan Ash, former CBS19 Player of the Week, reaching his way into the end zone. See how many people it took to bring him down? Overton finally shows up after a tough first quarter. Ryan Holloman strikes it over to Ivan Ransom, secures his dive into the end zone, puts the Mustangs on the board. Wildcats not done though. Bennett once again hands it off to Kagan Ash, who finally finds a gap, takes it home for another Mount Enterprise touchdown. I'm pretty sure he had over 400 yards in this game. Last time he almost had 600 yards against Overton. That's almost 1,000. He also set a national record in this game, according to Max Preps, for most points in a season. And all of a sudden, he's just inching closer and closer and closer to that all-time Texas rushing record.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, another game here from this afternoon. Carlisle and Hamilton squaring off in Corsicana. Finally starting to feel like football weather here in Texas. We got some clouds, we got some chilly breezes. Carlisle with the ball to start things off. Antonio Ibarra airs it out deep. Big grab downfield, just shy of the goal line, and that sets things up perfectly. Ibarra hands it off to Ivan Garza, who powers his way in for the first score of the game. And everybody on Carlisle making the touchdown, so everybody knows. But Hamilton answers right back. The run game gets rolling. Carson Roberts hits Halston Hale. Hale takes off, nobody catching him. Into the end zone asking, who's behind me? Answer, nobody. Bulldogs tie things up. Hamilton back with the ball. Pass intended for Devin Eanes, but it's intercepted by Brian Garza. Whoops! Carlisle can't capitalize. The Bulldogs take over again. Roberts under heavy pressure, forces it deep, but it's intercepted again. This time Aiden Martin jumps the route. So Carlisle defense doing its job. Hamilton's defense tighten it up though, getting the ball back. This time they cash in. Devin Eanes hauls the pass for the Bulldog touchdown. Hamilton leads it 13-7 in the first half. And the Bulldogs would just keep on keeping on. They beat Carlisle 29-7, and they'll play the winner of Axtell and De Leon.
Heck of a way to reintroduce yourself, Mr. Clay Baker, coming back from Henderson. Took a little pit stop in Henderson, got that program inching towards the right direction, goes back to Carlisle for a second stint. Takes them 3 rounds deep. You kidding me?
Pretty awesome.
Welcome back, Clay Baker.
Welcome back. And folks, stick around because we got some more highlights after this break. Of course, we got top plays later on. We'll see y'all in just a bit.
6-man ball, baby, coming up.
back into Under the Lights late night edition, folks. The wait is finally over. Jimmy, the wait is finally over. It's time for some six-man football
Dan,
highlights.
you know what I love in this world? I love six-man football.
I know it.
Different rules, same beautiful game, a lot of offense. Let's talk about it. Head over to Oakwood, man. Where's Oakwood? I don't know, but Akela's meeting Union Hill, Gilmer's own. In round 3, we saw him earlier on Thursday nights. Akela wasting no time getting on the board here, though. Opening play, handoff to TC Henning, and he finds a huge lane, sprinting his way all the way down the smaller six-man field into the end zone. Union Hill fires right back. EJ Mowry drops back, finds Mitch Mobley. No pressure around him. Easy touchdown for these big dogs.
Does that count as a big man touchdown?
Well, sorry, say it again.
Does that count as a big man
That
touchdown?
is a big man and a touchdown. Yes, it counts. Akela here. Ryan Hill tosses it back to Andrew Snipes, who tosses it to TC Hennig. God, I love six-man football. He breaks the tackle, slides his way in for the touchdown. And of course, Union Hill responds again. EJ Mowry straight into the end zone. No pressure at all. Definitely an offensive showdown. And I remember this kid. When we had him, when they played the ETX homeschool Chargers, that kid just took over the ball game. He just did it himself the whole time. Oh my goodness. They're going to play Gordon. Okay, if you know anything about six-man football, can I come back on camera right now?
Please.
If you know anything about six-man football, Gordon is a good enough team to beat most 11-man football teams. Gordon is like Patriots in the early 2010s. Gordon is Carthage, if that makes sense. You know what? Gordon is the top. And that's what I have to say about six-man football.
Well, we'll see what Union Hill can do against
Good luck,
him.
Union Hill.
It's going to be an uphill
great
battle.
season, man.
Talking about an uphill battle, let's talk about Pine Tree taking on Fort Bend Crawford. You'd swear it was a home game with all these Pirate fans, but no, we're in Groesbeck. It's windy, but not windy enough to lift the Pirate ship here in the first half. Pine Tree having trouble hauling in passes, so they're going to settle for 3 here. The field goal is good through the uprights. That would be their only points in the first quarter. Chargers start to roll afterwards. Alvin Mosley swings around the edge, takes it in for the touchdown. I said it before, Jimmy. I'll say it again. I like those Crawford uniforms.
And
very unique.
Thank goodness you do, because you might be the only one.
I don't know. I like him. Crawford back with the ball. Benji Fisher spots Amir Johnson in the end zone. Strike! Another Chargers touchdown. A lightning strike because of Charger. I don't know.
I think they're horses.
Max Preps has them as Chargers. Pirates trying to get something going. Colton Croft hands to Roger Adaway. Breaks free. Nearly takes it the distance until he's chased out of bounds by 3 defenders hot on his trail. Second quarter, Fisher calls his own number. Muscles his way in for another score with a little help from his friends. Off goes the helmet, but it don't matter. Pirates finally get the stop, forcing a field goal try. Miguel Arena knocks it through, so the Chargers extend their lead to 24-3 at the half. And, well, didn't get a whole lot better after that for Pine Tree. They lose 48-10 to Fort Bend Crawford, and Crawford will have Kilgore in the quarterfinals.
You know what? I hate those uniforms, actually. I've decided I hate those uniforms.
Okay.
Hey, let's get out to Edgewood here, and you know what? Script's not in. Let's just keep going. Demarion Overshone was there. How about that for the big man? The Texas won tonight, by the way. Josh Smith won it for the ARP Tigers as well, early on at least. He pushes his way into the end zone there. Hear a lot from him tonight. Edgewood tries to get going, finds this man over the middle. Man, number 1 was all over the field for a little bit tonight. He found his way into the end zone at least once in the early going. But that ARP defense, man, they were getting after it, gently sitting back the quarterback there. And the very next one, well, hello.
Less gentle.
Nice to meet you. That one's not very gentle at all. ARP was all over it. When they get into the end zone, they just handed it off to Josh Smith, who just made his way into the end zone.
And then
just walked back to the sideline. It was like he was doing nothing at all. But hey, the big man touchdown. This was the play of the night, man. Just picks it off and hauls it in. Man, he didn't really have to beat anybody. He was so far ahead. And ARP jumped out big into this one. And then, Josh Smith, one more time.
One more Josh Smith.
How many touchdowns can this guy score? ARP goes up big time, has to pause because of a lightning delay. There was a lot of it. I saw it myself. And now, if things hold, they will have to play Newton in the quarterfinals, which is, at this point, kind of like playing Gordon.
It's like the Gordon of 3A football.
Exactly.
All right, let's head out to Crockett, where the Troop Tigers are playing this dreaded Newton team that we've talked about so many times already tonight. Josh Childress for the Tigers will step back and search for an open man, launching it deep to D. Holly, but unfortunately the big play was called off. Made the catch in the end zone, but there was a holding call on the offense, so the big play that Troop needed goes nowhere. Trying again, Childress launches deep. It's intended for Holly, but Taboris Joyce was all over it for the incomplete pass. Kendra Porter keeping the ball here for Newton. He kept it on a lot of plays, looking for the breakaway, but he's taken down by some Tigers defenders. Childress now looking for an open man, feeling the pressure, firing to Logan Chamber, but it ends up in the hands of Braylon Patterson. Another interception. A couple plays later, Newton would turn that into a touchdown. And let's see that final score one more time. 46-13. Troop's first loss of the year comes here in the playoffs, so their season is over. Newton will probably play ARP in the quarterfinals.
Some of those plays didn't even look like they were really Troop's fault. Like they were laying the wood on some of those guys, and that one interception, he was basically caught. He was just yanked out of his hand. All right, let's go down to right up the road. St. Augustine taking on Beckville. Two teams looking to square off in the Rose City. St. Augustine Wolves, man, these guys are good. St. Augustine gets the ball rolling here, starting to Andrew Nash taking the ball here and impersonating a freight train. Chugga, 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 chugga. 31 yards to the house. Nothing wrong with that. St. Augustine strikes first. Beckville just couldn't get going offensively. QB Braxton Bullock swings it out quickly to Gabe Johnson, but the Wolves converge. Chew him up. Negative play there. Beckville forced to punt early on. Later on, St. Augustine going with the air attack. Michael Renfro's a scrambling man, but that's all right because he hooks up with Tamorian Cartwright with the ball spinning the other way. He's a lefty flying into your picture. He's getting gobbled up right in front of the goal line. It's first and goal, San Augustine Wolves. And uh-oh, here comes the freight train again. Andrew Nash, get off the tracks. He chugs his way down Main Street. Easy score. Wolves extend that lead. Later in the first quarter, check this out. Renfro spins it deep. DeAdrian Renfro, wow, taking the elevator to the top, high pointing his man with the pigskin. Look at that catch. That's a top play if I've ever seen one. DeAdrian looks like Randy Moss there with that grab. Those Wolves, all Wolves, first 12 minutes. 43-33. Beckville came back, man. This game was close. This game was not close, and then it was close, and then ended up pulling ahead a little bit in the end there. San Augustine moving on, playing Joaquin, who is just on fire right now. Actually, Dan, why don't you show them how on fire they are?
Yeah, speaking of Joaquin, let's meander on out to Tatum, where the Rams are clashing with the Elysian Fields Orange Yellow Jackets. Chilly temps across East Texas tonight, so the players all bundled up. Rams keeping it on the ground early. Cooper Bragg finds some daylight and then just turns on beast mode. Cruises past defenders for a huge gain before being ushered out of bounds deep in Elysian Fields territory. Later in that drive, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's Bragg again working off the left side and coolly, calmly following some blockers before falling forward into the end zone. Rams draw first blood, skipping ahead a little bit. It's 16-7 Rams. They say life's a gamble. Joaquin bets big on the onside kick, and guess what? The risk pays off. Deegan Lee streaks in to make the recovery and give the Rams tremendous field position. More smash mouth football here from Joaquin on the ensuing drive. Quarterback Trenton Runnels on the keeper, plows ahead, eventually finding pay dirt. Rams go up 24-7 after completing and successfully completing the two-point conversion. Roughly midway through the second quarter now, Elysian Fields looking to jumpstart the offense. Yellow Jackets quarterback Brandon Kennedy chucks it deep for Xavier Boyd, climbing the ladder, coming down with it for a 44-yard tutty. Elysian Fields battling but trailing with a little over 6 minutes to go in the first half. And well, yeah, then the rest of the game happened. And the Rams won big, 74-21, and they'll play San Augustine in the quarterfinals.
That one will be exciting.
That one will be exciting.
Dan.
What?
Gordon played an 11-man game this year and won. Yeah, the 6-man team played an 11-man team and won.
How?
It's a really good football team. It's a really good team.
That's shocking. I'm shocked. Yeah. All right, folks, we got top plays after this, so don't go anywhere. Folks, our time has almost come to an end here on Under the Lights. But before we go, we got to talk top plays, Joey.
The tippity top. That's the only ones we accept.
We only accept the best of the best. So let's start off with Carlisle and Hamilton. Bulldogs with the ball. Pass intended here for Devin Eves, but it's intercepted by Brian Garza. And I have a feeling that's not the only interception we're going to see here. Can't capitalize, but it's fine because the Bulldogs turn it over again this time. It's Aiden Martin jumping the route. Back-to-back interceptions and a big win for Carlisle. Or excuse me, not a big win for Carlisle. They tried to win, but Hamilton won.
Oh, top 2 plays. How about that? Fort Bend Crawford, Pine Tree here. Chargers with the possession. Benji Fisher spots Amir Johnson in the end zone. How did he catch that? I get it's not the East Texas highlight, but goodness, there's 2 men on him. There's so many hands in the face. How did he catch it? I don't know. But he ended up in the end zone with the teal jersey, the ugly one. I will add the ugly teal jersey.
I think it's fine. I think it's good. All right. Jimmy, you can tell that I shot this on an iPhone. Let me tell you a little something. My camera battery said it had 50% left. That was a lie.
Oh,
it started to die immediately. But anyway, this is a Sunnyvale top play. Just a man possessed here. Kaysen Moppin, the 70-yard touchdown run on, again, this was the last play. Could have just kneeled the ball to end the first half, but they said, nah, actually, we're just going to tie things up. However, Athens would come away with a 37-36 win.
Hey, how about this? San Augustine, top play from the Rose City. San Augustine, Beckville, check it out. Michael Renfro spinning it. DeAndrian Renfro. How about that? I wonder if they're related. Elevator to the top floor. High points this catch. Looking like Randy Moss out there. That said Wolves go ahead and get the dub with this one.
All right, and this is the top play of the night. It's a big man touchdown. Edgewood looking for some motion, but they can't get it because Zion Washington said, I'm going to just go take this bad boy into the end zone. Gets taken down late there, but it don't matter. That's a big man touchdown and a big ARP win.
The ref threw a flag on that play because it was too awesome.
It was too awesome.
It was too good of a play.
Well, folks, so many games. And with that, so many scores to look at. Let's look back at all the scores from the biggest games on this busy night of football in Beast, Texas, and all of Texas. Let's start out with that first game. This is the one I was at. Crazy shootout. Best game of the day. I wish I could have stayed longer. Athens beats Sunnyvale 37-36. Mount Enterprise tops Overton 74-46. Carthage over Pleasant Grove. Give credit to the Hawks putting up a fight against Big Bad Carthage. They win 34-20. Kilgore blanks Bridge City 34-0. Hamilton over Carlisle 29-7. St. Augustine beats Beckville 43-33. 82-32. Union Hall wins. And man, that's a 6-man score if I have ever seen it. But this is not a 6-man score. It looks like it. Joaquin has beaten Elysian Fields, or I think they already beat Elysian Fields 60-14.
All right, let's get to the next board here. ARP, oh, mine's not as fun. ARP versus Edgewood. ARP still leading Edgewood. We might have a final score here on that soon. 49-20. Newton beats Troop 46-13. And that looks about, it does it for tonight on East Texas. I want to get one more score in here if I can. I have one more score. I want to talk about the Zebras.
Oh, okay.
Grandview, baby.
Okay, well, while Jimmy looks for the Grandview score, it is important to check on the Zebras. Again, they do have the greatest inflatable in the history of Texas high school football. But in the meantime, Pine Tree lost to Fort Bend Crawford 48-10.
I do have that score. It's 41-21. Commerce comes around with the win. Commerce,
man.
legit team. Commerce is legit.
Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us on Under the Lights. We'll see you again next week. Playoffs, round 4. Be there.